following is a special Wayne Hills television sports presentation.
We're here to do a job. 4 weeks ago, we got meat. We don't take that well around here. We never mentioned it. You never mentioned it. That next day, we put a plan together. We gave it to each and every one of you. A plan, starting that Monday. What did it say? Start to prepare for Wayne Valley. Opening round of the state playoffs, right? And it took us right through. It had us winning Friday night. And it had us preparing for our second round opponent. And it had us winning that Friday night. Then it had this Thanksgiving. And it had us preparing for 2 weeks for a state championship game. Now you fill in the end. You fill in the friggin' end. How do we want to be remembered? The other day I said to a group of you guys, I said, hey, we've waited all year for this. I don't know who it was. But I think somebody really summed it up well. One of the seniors said, no, I haven't waited the whole year for this. I've waited my whole life for this. I said, wow. That's great. I'll tell you what, a year ago tonight, I told you yesterday, a year ago tonight, a low point in my goddamn career. I put that on my shoulders. And we walked out of here a year ago beat. We're not going to let it happen tonight. We are not going to go out there with that one player. Yeah, he's a good player, so what? Gotta get after him. Hey, someone's got to step up tonight, Pete. Every time he moves, every time he runs that draw, that buck sweep, that waggle, I want to tell the coach, don't call that play anymore. It doesn't work. And then when we get the ball, we've got to be a little more relentless than them. We've got to be a little more determined. We've got to block a little bit harder than them. And when things get tough tonight, and it's gonna happen early, there's gonna be a moment where somebody's gotta quit. Where somebody's gotta flinch. You fill in the ending tonight. You fill the ending in tonight. 48 minutes of hell. This is not the average defense he's playing against. It's 8 Devers. Let's go, get up.
4 years, seniors. Let's go. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go, you.
To the field of the new Meadowlands Stadium for today's North 1 Group 3 State Championship matchup between your Wayne Hills Patriots and the Tappan Knights. I'm John Vittas, joined by the one and only Mike Quick.
My man, Johnny.
So, Mike, no one knows high school football better than you. Before we get into this Wayne Hills matchup, let's talk about some things that have happened around the North Jersey scene the past couple of nights. Last night, Wallington, a little town, upset that Mountain Lakes team that had a huge win streak going.
Yeah.
Great story for that school.
You know, John, when you pull into the parking lot here in East Rutherford last night, one of the great things you see 3 or 4 fire engines, town of Wallington. They were so into this game. They had an incredible crowd. Now, so many people get caught up in this whole parochial versus public. There is so much to be said about the small public schools because it is truly a community affair.
Now, going from small public schools to large private schools,
Yeah.
Don Bosco had their hands full last night. They only got through by 10, and St. Joe's of Montvale lost to Holy Spirit, a team that personally I never even heard of.
Yeah.
Can you say that those two teams that have been the class of the private schools are on their way down, or is that just competition getting better?
The St. Joe's, no one played a tougher schedule in the tri-state area than St. Joe's Montvale. I think when you add it up, and I'm going to do it for the show this week, I think the teams that they played, combined records, were something like 90 and 25. Truly an amazing accomplishment. Every team that St. Joe's played this year in the regular season went into the state postseason, so it tells you how good they are. They're not going to drop. They just played an incredibly difficult schedule. Bergen, this is the year Bergen was built to beat Don Bosco. Coaching change, great players back. Bosco was supposed to be a little young. John, they grew up in the preseason. I went with Coach Stengel to watch them against North Penn in the preseason. At the half of the game, they were getting their fannies kicked. Second half, they come back, and when we drove home from Pennsylvania, I said to Stengel, that Don Bosco team that we just saw, they're no longer young kids. They just grew up. They're going to go 12-0 this year. They did, and you can mark it down right now. In the next 2 years, they will lose to no one in the state of New Jersey.
Well, they prove that they are the best team in the area. But going into this game, Wayne Hills Oltapan, the script is it's going to be Dowling Fuller, score for score, high scoring battle. This matchup, Dowling and Fuller, those two kids alone, is this one of the best marquee talent for talent matchups with two guys from on opposite teams?
I think it is, and you know it's funny. I just don't think this game's going to be as high scoring as everybody thinks it is. I think what we're going to see, and for you guys to be successful tonight, I think Brian has to have one of those Ramapo type nights. Get the ball between 30 and 40 times, keep it away from number 7. And when you look at Wayne Hills, the Patriots had it earlier this year, had the ability to slow John Robertson down from Paramus. No one else has done that. That becomes your barometer. They have never faced anybody like the Wayne Hills team they're going to play tonight this year. I think you guys will win the game, and I don't think it'll be as high scoring as everybody thinks it's going to be. But, John, my picks have been terrible this weekend, so it'll probably be 63-56.
Well, that's what the score was against Paramus in the semis. But number 7, you mentioned Devin Fuller. No one's been able to stop him. A lot of teams thought they could, and they tried, but they couldn't. Wayne Hills also thinks they got this kid figured out. Can you underestimate Coach Olson? I mean, he's gotten the job done against everyone, but do you think they can stop him, or how do you?
No.
If you're Coach Olson, how do you stop 7?
You don't, John. You don't. You just hope to slow him down. You hope that the 500 yards of total offense are 300 yards of total offense. The 7 touchdowns are 3 or 4. If they slow him down, they'll win this game. To me, personally, I wouldn't rush him. I would just stay there and pillow fight on the line of scrimmage and make him throw to beat us. Because if you get great push up the field, that's when he's at his best, when he starts playing that jitterbug game throughout your defenders.
Right, no question. Wayne Hills' defense has to set the edge and keep Fuller inside. But the other quarterback, Kevin Olson, it seems like yesterday we were in the preseason talking about whether this kid was going to have it this season. Yeah. He's got a bright future, but right now, is he mature enough where if Dowling gets slowed down, is he going to be able to make the plays? Is he mature enough yet to win a state championship if he has to?
Great question. And if you asked me that before the St. Joe's Montvale game, I would have said no. He hasn't been in one of those games yet. Well, he was against St. Joe's. He did not play great against St. Joe's. He knows that. His dad knows that. His teammates know that. I think Kevin, based on that St. Joe's performance, will be fine tonight. Do they want to throw the football tonight? No, they want to give it to, number 9 and let him do his thing. But I said this to the old ball coach earlier this week. I called up Olson. I said, hey, Chris, on first down, I'd play action. I'd let Kevin throw it deep.
Heads up, Vittas.
I'd let Kevin throw it deep. and get right into the flow of the game that way. You get them loose, you get them ready to go, and off you go.
All right, well, Mike, we're dodging balls here, so we got to go before we get hit. But thanks so much for giving us your insight.
Great job. Great year again. You guys are the best.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Johnny.
We'll be back with more after this.
I mean, Anthony, you know a thing or two about broken upper body limbs.
That I do.
Kickoff taken by Dowling at the 30, breaks it at the 40, he's got room at the 50, there he goes, 40, 30, 25, 20. Let's go!
Welcome to our final edition of the season of Breaking Tackles with Brian Dowling. I'm John Vittas here with Wayne Hill's running back Brian Dowling. Brian preparing for the state championship game against Old Tappan, an undefeated team coming in at 11-0. Obviously, they've had a great season. You guys have that one loss, but are favored to win by a little bit. But it's supposed to be a tremendous historic game, a Giant Stadium Saturday night. So you know the history with these with your program, Wayne Hills. Won 6 state championships this decade. They're in the finals every year, losing last year against Ramapo. How important is it for you guys to come out and rebound from what last year's team did and prove that you are the top team in North Jersey?
It's important for our seniors mostly because, like you said, we ended up losing last year and it was unfortunate. And they still talk about the game. You know how it upsets them that's how they went out. So we just want to go out, give it everything we got, and we think if we give it 100% and don't make mistakes, we should get the W.
Now, for you guys, it's kind of commonplace to be playing a Giant Stadium, but I mean, for a high school athlete, it's a special thing to play in an NFL stadium, especially a new one that we'll see with the new Meadowlands Stadium. Does that add to the intensity at all? Does that make you want to win even more?
I think in a little bit in the beginning of the game, walking in the field and, seeing, a wide open stadium, not a high school football stadium. It's, like you said, an NFL stadium, so there's going to be a lot more people. And, it'll definitely be exciting, but, you got to channel those emotions and, play your game and, execute and, kind of not make it bigger than it is, and I think we'll be all right.
Now let's put the hype aside, talk about the game a little bit. Obviously, you guys are going to have your hands full with Devin Fuller. A lot of people call him the best player in New Jersey. He's a dual-threat quarterback. He can throw it. He can run it. He runs for over 200 yards a game. No one's been able to stop him yet this season. You guys have had 2 weeks to game plan for him. Coach Olson, I'm sure, has put together a great strategy. So what is it? How are you planning on stopping this kid?
When you watch the film, yeah, he's a great player, whatever. He's talented and all that stuff. But we've played against great players before. We've played against kids that are faster than him and stronger than him. And I think the key is playing a smart defense. You watch the film, a lot of these defenses, you kind of question what are they doing. Just like that it's almost like they're allowing him to do some of the things he does. So we're gonna take his feet out of the game immediately and blitz him and spy him a little bit and just stay in your lanes and containing him is the key. And he's listed as a quarterback, but I don't really consider him a quarterback because he runs the ball 40 times a game and he throws it 3 times a game. So he can do both, and we want to make him throw first before he runs.
So looking at your offense now, Old Tappan's defense is not really up to par with Ramapo's defense and St. Joe's and some of the teams you've played this year. Are they going to give you the ball every time and let you try to run all over them, or is Coach Olson going to give his son some discretion to throw the ball down the field against a weak defense?
I think it'll be a little bit of both. Of course, as a senior, I want the ball in my hands, and of course, it'll keep Devin Fuller off the field, long drives, running the football, but we have to mix it up, maybe throw early, open them up a little bit, and, do different things. We have confidence in Kevin. He's had a great season so far. He's an all-area quarterback already as a sophomore. So, we're going to mix it up, do different things, give the ball to James, give the ball to me, Massey, different guys involved. And if we can, fire on all cylinders, we'll be all right.
All right, well, Brian, thanks for seeing us every week and giving us all the insight. You've been a class act of your career, obviously a historic one at Wayne Hills, and everyone here in high school wishes you all the best of luck as you go on to college. So thanks so much for giving us all your insight, and good luck the rest of the way with your career.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with Wayne Hills Old Tappan in the state finals after this.
As there's your boy Peter Davies finally making a play. As it looks like
Jason Avedisian, the big boy running down the field. He's at the 40, the 30. Defenders are trying to get up to him. He's at the 10, the 5. And then Jason Avedisian, who had talked to us before the game, said he was going to have a big play. And look at the big boy rumble into the end zone.
Back here on the field at the new Meadowlands Stadium, getting set for the kickoff between Wayne Hills and Old Tappan in the state championship game. I'm a senior. I know what these players are feeling tonight. They are so pumped coming into this game. We were just in the locker room for Coach Olson's pregame speech. These kids are fired up. Effort won't be a factor tonight. But you have to remember what happened last year against Ramapo in this very same game in the snow. Wayne Hills does not want to let that happen tonight. But coming into this game, they have a new challenge. It's number 7, Devin Fuller. The kid's run for over 200 yards per game this season. No one's been able to stop him. He's putting up close to half a century against every team this season. Wayne Hills is going to have to slow him down in order to win. Will it be Dowling versus Fuller all night, or will one of the unsung heroes step up from behind the scenes and upstage number 9 and number 7 respectively? Will it be Pinelli, the wide receiver from Old Tappan, who's the second most explosive kid on this team? Or will it be Eugene Lowe, James Hogan, Mike Dries? Who knows who it'll be? We're about to find out. There's a lot of questions, but first, my 3 keys for tonight's game. Number 1 for Wayne Hills, tackle, tackle, and tackle. Devin Fuller, he breaks tackles for a living. No one's been able to stop him this year. If Wayne Hills' 4 linebackers, all seniors, can get 2 hands on him and somehow bring him down, they'll do that tonight because they're going to need to gang tackle and they're going to need to get him low because he can break just about anyone's grasp. Second, set the edge against him. When Fuller gets to the outside, he can get past anybody. If you keep him inside between the tackles, the interior defense for Wayne Hills will gobble him up. They run a 4-4, and Fuller won't be able to go anywhere inside. If James Hogan, Peter Davies, and Greenfield don't set the edge against Fuller, he'll be off to the races down the sideline. And last but not least, my 3rd and final key is turnovers. No question that's going to be a huge deal tonight, especially if it's a high-scoring game where they go score for score. If Wayne Hills turns the ball over, Devin Fuller will make you pay. Hills had the luxury of gaining several turnovers against Wayne Valley and High Point. They most likely will not have that tonight. And last but not least, will the experience of Wayne Hills being here at Giant Stadium before help them? Because Old Tappan hasn't been here in a while, and that might play a factor as well as the weather. So with that, let's see what happens in the first quarter of action. Stay tuned, Wayne Hills and Old Tappan. Wayne Hills coming out of the tunnel and touching the rock, looking for their 7th state championship in 9 years. Mike Dries would start things up with the kickoff to start the North 1 Group 3 state championship game. Jeff Pinelli, fielding it from his own 3, would take it all the way out to the 29-yard line, and that's where superstar Devin Fuller and Old Tappan would start their opening drive. The first play from scrimmage for Old Tappan, Fuller fakes the run and pulls it back and throws it over the middle, complete to his tight end Dale Veselski for a first down. On the very next play, Fuller would fake the handoff and take it all the way up for 11 yards, and another Old Tappan first down, 2 plays and 2 first downs. But a couple plays later, Fuller's pass would be intercepted by Brian Dowling on the far side. He would take it back for a return of 10 yards, and Wayne Hills gets the first turnover of the game and the first momentum in their direction. First play from scrimmage for Wayne Hills, and Dowling's going to take the toss and pick up a first down of his own, and Wayne Hills moves the chains on their very first play. A couple plays later on 3rd down, Kevin Olson would get his first chance to throw the ball on 3rd down, and he was batted away, intended for Mike Dries over the middle. But on 4th down, Brian Dowling would somehow fight off defenders and spin ahead, dragging Devin Fuller across the line for a first down. Strong run by Dowling to keep the drive going. Next play, Kevin Olson rolling to his right off the play-action fake and hits Mike Dries over the middle for a first down as Dries drags defenders all the way down into the Old Tappan red zone. But as quickly as they get into the red zone, Kevin Olson would turn the ball over as the pass is going to be intercepted by Andrew Dobbich. He would take a knee in the end zone, and Old Tappan gets their first turnover of the game, and they'll start from their own 20. At the end of the first quarter, Wayne Hills and Old Tappan find themselves in a scoreless 0-0 tie. I said turnovers would be huge in this game, and so far both quarterbacks have thrown one interception, and the result, a 0-0 draw to this point. But the one thing I want to draw attention to, both Dowling and Fuller have come to play tonight. We've already seen Fuller's shiftiness and some nice runs he's had in the first drive, and Dowling on the huge 4th-and-1 play from the 50 was stopped on the initial surge, but somehow rolled off the hit and fell across the line for the first down. Both of these guys are in rare form. It's 0-0. Let's see what happens in the second quarter. We pick things up in the second quarter. 2 minutes in, Brian Dowling showing off some moves to the outside, gets a nice block from Peter Davies and drags Old Tappan defenders inside their 30-yard line. Later on the drive, Kevin Olson rolling to his weak side is going to find James Hogan in the flat, who gets down to the Old Tappan 7, and that would lead to this, Brian Dowling's 3-yard touchdown run. He takes the Old Tappan defense with him, and Wayne Hills gets on the board first. They're up 7-0. On the first play of the following drive, Devin Fuller looking to run up the middle, and he gets popped by Nick Massey, who knocks the ball loose, and Wayne Hills recovers at the Old Tappan 7-yard line. On the next play, Brian Dowling takes it up the middle and is stopped inside the 1-yard line. They rule him just short of the goal line. After a delay of game penalty, Kevin Olson goes in motion, and Brian Dowling steps up to take the snap, and he's going to get a big hole from the left side. Sam Schultz leads the way, and Brian Dowling gets into the end zone for the quick 14-0 lead. In the first half, the defense won the battle against Devin Fuller. Hogan and Dowling blitz from the outside, and Davies and Greenfield combined for the sack. After forcing an Old Tappan punt, Brian Dowling would take the draw up the middle and bounce it to the outside as he goes through the Old Tappan secondary and is finally pushed out of bounds after a gain of 46. But this drive would stall on this play. 4th down, Olson rolling to his weak side again, looks deep down the field for Mike Drees, and it's batted away, and Old Tappan would take over. Old Tappan would dodge a huge bullet on this play as Fuller's pass over the middle gets batted down by Nick Massey, but Joe Lane drops the easy interception. On the next play, Devin Fuller would roll to his right away from the blitz and finds Drew Martinez in the middle of the field for an Old Tappan first down. That would lead to this. Fuller rolling to his left as Jeff Pinelli gets past the defense and is all alone back in the Wayne Hills red zone. He makes the catch and gets all the way down to the Wayne Hills 15. Just before the half, Devin Fuller would take it himself and go to the right side and find a hole, and he easily walks into the end zone and cuts the Wayne Hills lead in half at 14-7. A questionable decision from Old Tappan as Rizzo, the kicker, is going to pooch it as Eugene Lowe fair catches it at his own 43-yard line, which would allow for Olson to have one deep bomb before the end of the half, and he hits Troy Zaffino in double coverage, who's knocked out of bounds, and gives Mike Drees a chance to add 3 points, and that's exactly what he does, as Mike Drees hits the field goal and Wayne Hills goes into the locker room up 17-7. And now let's take a listen to the Wayne Hills marching band under the direction of Matthew Paterno.
Excellent protection all the time in the world. Looking downfield, looking for Van Penen, triple covered, sticks it in there, flags on the play. Van Penen ahead to the 20, looking for the sideline. He's across the 10, near the goal line, dives. Touchdown, Ray Van Penen.
After 2 quarters of action here from the new Meadowlands Stadium, Wayne Hills leads Old Tappan 17-7. I'm John Vittas, joined on the field by the Wayne Today sports writer, Rich Stambulian. So, Mr. Stambulian, first of all, Wayne Hills with a 10-point lead at halftime. They've done a really good job of stopping Devin Fuller. Have you been surprised by how well they've been able to slow him up?
Well, only because he's, a better runner than a passer. I'm a little surprised about that. But other than that, I think, nothing's been too surprising.
Well, Fuller has made some damage with his passing game, but so far he hasn't been able to get loose at all. But we saw Peter Davies let him through on that one play to the outside to score the touchdown, and right. Coach Olson got on Peter for that in the locker room. Do you think we'll see any more breakdowns, or is the Old Tappan coaching staff going to be able to make some adjustments to fix what Wayne Hills has stopped right now, or are they just going to continue to stop Fuller?
I think the second half's going to be much like the first half. I don't think Fuller's going to do any more damage in the second half than he did in the first half. Now,
I have to ask the question. Last year, obviously, Wayne Hills lost in this game.
Right.
The fact that there's no snow tonight, you think that has anything to do with how well they played on offense?
Oh, I'm sure it does, because last year was snowy and windy and wet, and that's probably what contributed to Mike Quinn's poor performance. I think he was 2 for 20-something passing.
Something like that. I mean, The other thing that Wayne Hills has had experience this year is facing running quarterbacks. They stopped John Robertson and contained him very well, and they're doing an even better job with Fuller tonight. How much does that play a role in tonight's game, with Wayne Hills knowing they've stopped a running quarterback before?
Well, if they've done it before, they should be able to do it again.
And then they're showing that against tonight. Well, Mr. Stambulian, thanks for dropping by. We'll be looking forward to the third quarter of action. Stay tuned for Wayne Hills Old Tappan. Coming out of the locker room, Kevin Olson would hit Troy Zaffino on the wide receiver screen as he shakes off the defender and picks up 20 yards on the play, and Wayne Hills was moving the ball on the first drive. Kevin Olson makes another nice pass. This time he finds Mike Dries sitting down in the zone, and he will take defenders all the way inside the 10-yard line and set Wayne Hills up with the 1st and goal. But after the drive stalled, Mike Dries would have to settle for a field goal attempt, and he kicks it just wide of the uprights, and Wayne Hills comes away with nothing. But the Wayne Hills defense picks up right where they left off in the first half as they stuff Fuller again. He couldn't get anything going with the run game. Again, trying to elude the rush, and he gets smothered by 3 Wayne Hills defenders. That would force a punt from Old Tappan, which Brian Dowling would take forward for a nice return and set Wayne Hills up with pretty good field position. Now watch this play closely. It looks like a simple Brian Dowling run up the middle, but the ball comes free at the end of it, and they unravel the pile and determine that Old Tappan recovered. But after taking a look at the replay board, the refs determined that the Brian was indeed down, and Wayne Hills would eventually retain possession, which would lead to this. Brian Dowling up the middle, gets down to the 2-yard line and sets Wayne Hills up with another 1st and goal. Well, who said there was an instant replay in high school football? Wayne Hills gets called for the fumble. Old Tappan recovered, but after the refs took a peek at the scoreboard, they realized Brian was down by contact. Wayne Hills gets the ball back, and they're ready to score again and put the nail in the coffin in this game. But the Wayne Hills coaches on the sidelines are focusing in on the offensive line. They're getting in the face of all 5 of those offensive linemen and saying, guys, if you do your job, we can ride number 9 straight to a state championship. After another penalty, Hills is forced to attempt a 2nd field goal, and again, Dries misses it wide to the left, and the lead remains at just 17-7. That shift in momentum would give Old Tappan all the energy they needed to go on a long drive. They start things off with the counter to Rodman for a huge gain. On the next play, Fuller's looking to roll out, and he gets another 1st down. Wayne Hills not making the tackles they did in the first half. And again, Rodman going to take a 2nd counter for a huge gain. Picks up 20 on this play, and Old Tappan's offense was rolling into Patriot territory. But after Wayne Hills was able to force a 4th down, look at the catch from Drew Martinez to save his team's season. Take a look at the replay. What a catch from Martinez, and they keep the drive going. But Old Tappan would go back to the counter as Rodman takes this one into the end zone for a touchdown, and the Wayne Hills lead is cut to 17-14. 3rd down from midfield for Wayne Hills, trying to ice the game. Kevin Olsen, with plenty of time to throw, looking to his right and finds Troy Zaffino along the sideline, but they rule him out of bounds, and Wayne Hills would have to punt, giving Old Tappan one more shot at a drive for the win. After starting the drive backed up inside their own 20, Fuller gets them out of the shadow of their own end zone by hitting Martinez over the middle towards midfield, who makes another great catch. Another huge 3rd down conversion for Old Tappan. Devin Fuller rolling out on 3rd and 10, and he outruns Wayne Hills' best defensive end and Peter Davies and picks up the 1st down. On the next play, they'd give an end around to Jeff Pinelli, who gets to the outside and gets 15 yards and another Old Tappan 1st down and into the Wayne Hills red zone. Fuller would look to throw to his right and lobs it up as it's almost intercepted by Mike Dries, which could have brought home the victory for Wayne Hills, but instead, Devin Fuller goes over the top to Drew Martinez, who makes the catch in the end zone, as Old Tappan would add the extra point and take a 21-17 lead with just 23 seconds to go. With 23 seconds to go, down by 4 points and a state championship seeming out of reach, Wayne Hills would need a miracle. Let's take a listen. With 5 seconds to go, Old Tappan would have their shot at a miracle kickoff return. They'd have to do a bunch of laterals similar to what Wayne Hills did. They eventually give it to their superstar, Devin Fuller, who tries a lateral it across the field, and eventually Wayne Hills would recover the ball and pick up their 7th state championship in 9 years and go out as winners in the North 1 Group 3 state championship game for 2010. Here on the field with Nick Massey. Nick, you had a great game, but no one's going to remember it because that play was amazing. Were you in on that kickoff, or what happened if you were on the sideline?
I was in on that kickoff. We knew that they were going to try some crazy stuff that we've never seen before, possibly just like we just did to win the game. So we all ran down, squibbed it, tried to run the timeout. Group effort, got to the ball, wound up recovering it for the win.
Now, obviously, that play is going to be what everyone remembers, but for the first 2.5 quarters, you guys shut down Devin Fuller. It wasn't until the fourth quarter where we really had some drives to get it down the field. You especially were in on those hits. How were you able to contain him in the first 2.5 quarters?
Well, we did a lot of spying with Dowling. Inside backers didn't drop deep for the pass. Unfortunately, they were sneaking them behind us for that, but we had our ends played great, a lot of outside backer blitzes, contained them, rushed up the middle, we got them. So,
well, congratulations, Nick. We're going to be celebrating this one for a long time. Go celebrate. Here with Kevin Olson and Russ Pekarski. I mean, Kevin, after Fuller scored, both of you guys must have thought, there's not much hope left. And, what happened on that play? What was your perspective of it?
Are you talking about the one where Fuller threw the touchdown?
No, the return.
About this one. All right. I saw Brian. Everybody was crowding around Brian. Troy's kind of just hanging in the back. I saw Brian kind of fidgeting with the ball, tossed it to Troy. Monahan threw a blocked out field, and that was it.
Kev, no one's going to really remember some of the plays in the middle of this game, but you made some good throws tonight. Talk about how you were able to mature over the course of the season and make some big plays in this game.
Yeah, today I thought I kind of struggled a little bit, but threw a couple good passes that kind of got us on a little bit of a roll. The one down the sideline to get us up 17-7 at the half, but overall today wasn't that bad.
Well, Kev, you did a great job recovering from that interception. Now, Russell, you didn't get a chance to play in this game last year. How much sweeter is it that you got to play a big part in this one?
It's really good. I feel guilty because the tight end should have been me. I didn't know. We didn't practice it all week, but it should have been me. I feel guilty with it, but in the end we won. I don't think we'd be here right now if it wasn't for me also. So, there's nothing I can say. I might have almost blew it, but, it was meant to be, I guess.
Your teammates certainly had your back. What can you say about these seniors? You're one of the captains. Just a great performance on defense tonight. Everyone's going to see the choke down the stretch, but you guys held up for a really long time.
There's nothing to say. Honestly, there's nothing to say. The film says everything. It was meant to be for us to win. Our senior grade loves this sport. It's the last time we're ever playing. It's a great way to leave. It's a classic.
All right, well, Russ, congratulations on the game, man. You did a great job.
Hope you had fun now, too.
Yeah, thanks. Here with James Hogan and Peter Davies. Guys, what an ending. James, were you in on that kickoff?
Yes.
And what happened?
Wait, on the kickoff or the quick return?
The return. You know what I mean. Come on.
Okay. I was thinking it's going to be a repeat of last year. I saw Brian flip it to Troy. I look wide open. I seen number 44. Troy ran right by him. Touchdown.
Who sealed that block on the edge on this side? I don't know if you know who it was, but it was a great block and it sprung things for Troy.
Had the block downfield, and I think Troy just outran number 44. Crazy.
Peter, you had some big tackles tonight on Fuller. How were you guys able to contain him for most of this game?
For most of the game, we had to play our reads and everything like that. Coach just taught us a great way to contain him, and if we follow our reads, then there you go. We contain him. We stop the game,
you guys are both senior leaders on this team, James. I remember kicking punts with you in your driveway back in middle school, and now it ends like this. It's a storybook ending. What are you going to take out of this program in these 4 years here?
This program just teaches you a life lesson, legit. It teaches you a life lesson, and today, this is the greatest feeling of my life that I have right now. Honestly, it's undescribable.
It's the best feeling of my life I ever had right now. This is me all 4 years. I haven't played football since freshman year. Freshman year was my first year playing football. I was wondering if this is worth it. This is 100% worth it. This has been a great 4 years of my life.
Well, guys, congratulations. Go celebrate. It's a great ending to a great career.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good job. Here with Matt Greenfield and Justin Avedisi and a pair of juniors. Matt, you guys on defense played a great game tonight. You and Peter at defensive end especially did a great job of sealing off Fuller. how did you do that for the first 3 quarters until he came back at the end?
No, our coach gave us a game plan. He told us everything we are going to do, all the plays. We just did what we were told, and we stopped them.
Now, Justin, you guys had a great job on the offensive line tonight. Really had a couple great drives. How were you able to open up holes against his defense?
We scouted them a lot, watched every game they ever played this year, and we knew going in that we'd have a chance. Every time we got the ball, we'd have to try to score. I think we did a pretty solid job moving the ball. Didn't convert all the time, but got the job done.
Well, no one's going to remember those missed field goals after this ending. What can you guys take out of this game going into next season where you're going to have to be senior leaders on this team?
You just gotta always work hard, always play hard. Never get your head down, because we were losing for we didn't keep our head down. We came back and we won.
Coach always says don't flinch, and we didn't. And it's exactly why we do everything in the summer. You question why you're playing, and this is why we create our own good breaks.
All right, well, guys, congratulations and good luck next year. I won't be here, but you'll be able to carry on the torch and hopefully be here a year from now. Troy, what can you say about this game? Probably the most important play in Wayne Hills High School history. How does it feel to be a part of it?
Oh my God, it felt amazing just knowing that I won the state championship for this Wayne Hills team. It was an amazing senior class. I felt bad when I saw the time running out and they scored. And I knew if I had got the ball, I had to make a play. And I saw the whole sidelines wide open, and I made that play.
Take us through from the start. I mean, Brian he got wrapped up pretty quick, and I saw him get wrapped up. I was like, we're going to lose this game. And all of a sudden, tell us what happened.
Well, the kick went to Brian. I stayed behind him because I actually thought I was going to get the kick, but he went in front of it. And then I saw a whole bunch of Tappan players swarming him. And I knew if I stayed behind him and called for the ball, I could have kept it alive. And I was like, Brian, right before the whistle blew, I got it. I looked up. I saw the whole left side wide open, got a few blocks, and saw the whole blue end zone.
And I was running alongside you on the sideline. I swear I outran you to the pylon. I promise.
Well, my calves were kind of cramping up there, so...
It's safe to say that was the best cramp you ever felt.
Oh, definitely. It's the most amazing feeling in my life.
Well, Troy, you're going to be here next year, so good luck doing better than this.
Oh, we definitely will. Don't worry. We'll bring home another one.
All right, Troy, congratulations. Andrew, you threw the huge block to Spring Troy on that play. It's safe to say without that block, we wouldn't be where we are right now.
Right. I mean, we worked harder than any other team all season. No other team deserves it more than us. I mean, these kids, like family to me, we deserve it. I mean, we're state champs.
I mean, what can you take out of this game going into next year? You're going to be one of the senior leaders on this team. What have these seniors taught you, and now you know what you're working towards?
I mean, they set the bar. I mean, it's a hard thing to come by. Seniors are great. Like I said, they're family to me, all brothers to us. Just got to do our thing, take over next year and win another one.
All right, well, Andrew, congratulations on the big win. Go celebrate. Well, trying to recover from what was the most exciting moment of our lives, probably. I mean, I can't think of anything else right now. I mean, guys, we've been here for 4 years now. It's been a long ride. I mean, we started in the TV program when we were little tiny freshmen, and we've grown with this team, and we've been able to cover them so closely. I mean, we're all going to go to college and do the best we can with this field, but who knows if we're ever going to get a chance like we have with this program. I mean, I'm going to let you guys go first.
I mean, John, it started off freshman year as a hobby. A lot of my friends just said, join TV, it's an easy A. Freshman year, you want to have good grades, but it's turned into much more than that. It's turned from a hobby into a lifestyle, and from a lifestyle into a passion. It's really been something incredible. You know, the three of us right here, and including Joe Rapp and all the other seniors, we've become a family. And not only that, I feel like we've become part of the football team as a whole. This isn't just their state championship. I don't want to take away from them, but this is ours too. We're with them every game. It's an emotional roller coaster. I mean, growing through the 2 losses last year and the 1 loss this year, you have your ups and your downs, and this is the up right now. The most incredible ending I've ever seen in my life in any football game. You have the Stampede and Stanford, but this. Emotionally, it's not the same. We've seen our friends overcome obstacles that we thought were, insurmountable. It's just something incredible, and to spend it with you guys, I've really had the best time of my life.
I just don't know what to say. I know so many people have been in this position before, signing off, ending their 4 years doing Wayne Hills football, but it's just been a great ride, and I can't believe that it's been 4 years already, and this is such a great group of people, and everyone says this every year, but all the credit in the world goes to Jim Hoogstraat, our advisor, for making this the best program in New Jersey. I don't know, possibly North Jersey. But the TV program is really, he does such a great job of training people for not only college, but an occupation and communications and stuff like this. So I think all three of us would like to extend our thanks to him. And on behalf of myself, I'd like to say to you guys, thanks for being there for every single game, you know, not just football, everything. We're seniors now, it's last year TV club. I know we still got 2 more seasons, but I know I'm going to miss it so much when it's over.
Well, John, thanks for the heartfelt words. I mean, it's the same thing for all of us. It's a sad goodbye as Anthony gets emotional next to me. I mean, Joe Rapp as well, who couldn't be here tonight. We've been through a lot together. It's been a long road, especially, I mean, with this football team, you expect them to win. Coming in our first 2 years, it was a given that Wayne Hills was going to win the state championship. Last year, they proved that it's not an automatic. And this year, we were on the ground about to cry out of, you know, sadness that we thought that this game got blown. And then the most amazing thing happens, and look at this. It's been an amazing ending to a great career. Like John said, we can't thank Mr. Hoogstraat enough. I mean, he really strives us towards perfection. If there's the littlest thing wrong with whatever we're doing, he's going to let us know. And at first we called him a pessimist, but we've realized it's been for the best. I don't think anyone from any other high school is going to be better prepared than we are going into college and into the professional ranks of this industry. I mean, we all have, people tell us we have bright futures. I mean, we've had a lot of compliments from people around town, and it's probably well-deserved. We do work hard at this, but we couldn't have done it without Mr. Hoogstraat. I mean, Anthony, I also want to apologize to you for taking some of the glory away with the MSG varsity stuff. It's been a great ride for me. I've had so many people who I never even knew come up to me and say, you do a great job. Walking around town, people come up to me. So it's an identity that I've kind of put my face on now. It's what I do. It's what I want to do in the future. And, I mean, if it wasn't for this, who knows what I'd be majoring next year going into college. It'd be a whole different story. So we're going to wrap it up now. I mean, it's been, like we said, it's just been a great 4 years and an ending that we couldn't have scripted any better. It's just a great night to cap off a great 4 years. So for everybody on our Wayne Hills broadcast crew, we hope you enjoyed our broadcast of the state championship game tonight. I'm John Vittas for Anthony Scadillo, John Giardello, Tom Patania, and Matt Riley. This is John Vittas saying good night.